you come through with a $2,400 fiscal on it, and I go back down to fiscal and say, it's impossible. That's the wrong number. It should be 35,000. You know, and and they go, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. It's 35,000. Well, that just killed the bill because now it goes to Ways and Means and they're going to get funded. So I'm with it.
What we did last session, and I don't know the answer to your question now because this is still under debate. What we did last session is we got a public set of documents for each entire agency available in the Legislative Fiscal Office, so the average citizen could come in and look at the documentation that they have. They don't have very good documentation. They couldn't budget or balance a family checkbook if they had to in the state, okay? But the sad part of it is their co-chair of the majority knows that he's trying to fix it, but he's not getting a lot of cooperation, right? So having said that, though, if they're looking at this, you'll be able to look at a budget, and likewise, when you go to the new online system, the legislative fiscal statement will tell you who that person is. And let's say hypothetically that you are an expert in mining, right? And there's this bill that comes out, and the agency's saying it'll only take X amount of dollars to do it, because the legislature has to call the agency, who regulates mining, whether it's DEQ, we'll say, thing I saw here, DEQ. And they go to DEQ, and DEQ and says, well, it'll take us, you know, this amount of staff time, and so on and so forth, to implement this law, right? Well, you know, the analysts from our side, the legislature, they're having to rely on what these people have to say. Now, they published the study, and it comes out, the fiscal statement, it comes out in the deal, and it says Bob Smith is the analyst there, and you're from the industry, right? Well, our lobbyists know how to do this. They look at that thing, and they immediately put documents together, and they come in and say, well, you know, Bob Smith, you're the analyst, we just looked at this thing right here, and oh, by the way, we're in the industry, and there's 126 mines that are affected by this. The travel time alone is going to cost $196,000 under the IRS code just to travel between these, so how can the fiscal be $35? And the analysts in the legislature say, it's pretty good at this. They'll go back and say, oh, that's a good question, because they don't know anything. They're just a bean counter, right? So they'll go back to the agency based on his question to them. And oh, by the way, it's a Ways and Means question, and there's, let's say that's, I'm assuming, would be in general government downstairs. He copies the co-chair, subcommittee co-chair for Ways and Means with the question, right? And then the co-chair staff looks at them and says, yeah, you're right. You know, how could this only be $35 when the travel alone's $500,000? If people like you don't look at those budgets, what I did is I went down in my last time around, and I ended up trimming a ton of money out of the agencies that I had when I was chair, and I wasn't even on Ways and Means, because I just went down and asked stupid questions, like, how could you possibly do this? I mean, this is not economical. You know, just common sense tells you that this is going back and forth. Because you got some poor analysts down there that's, you know, got 20 agencies they're dealing with. They haven't got a clue what's going on, other than bean counting. So what you got to do is get into the weeds. Now,